how I would build a business in 2025 if I had to start over. People ask Noelle Randall all the time, well, how would you start over? If I had to start my business right now, what is something that you could do? Well, in this video, I'm going to break that down step by step. I'm going to tell you exactly what I would do. And I'm going to share with you some of the things that I did in the past that I definitely would not do again so that you could do it right. Because I think that right now is the best time to start a business. And I want to help you with that. Let's go.
Noelle. Yeah, she can fix that. You gotta get it done, no, you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
So let's get right into it. I am Noelle Randall. I am a real estate entrepreneur, multimillionaire, author, best-selling author, speaker, mama of five, and so much more. And people often ask me about how I got to my success. Obviously, I mentor people, I've written books, I'm speaking, I'm telling people that they can be successful as well. But many people are like, okay, I can see where you are today, but how would I do those things today? Because you started, 10 years ago or whatever. Well, I'm going to break that down because it really is mostly mindset. Yeah, there's some tangible things that I would do, but I think that it was my mindset and some of the things that I had thought, myths about how the world worked that were totally wrong, that were really messing me up. And I know them now. So I'm going to share them with you. And more importantly, what you got to do. Every business needs money. It needs cash flow. It needs to be making money each month. It's also referred to as revenue, but there is a big difference between revenue and profits. And I think that a lot of people look at big companies like Walmart or Home Depot or whatever big company that you can think of, and we can see that they make a lot of money. But I'm going to share a big secret with you. Most companies are able to actually fudge their income a little bit in their revenues because they're able to take on outside capital. They're able to get investors to invest in their money. So, any publicly traded company, for example, is on the New York Stock Exchange. And when you buy shares, you're literally giving that company money for them to work with and expand their business. So, any business that you see on the New York Stock Exchange or on NASDAQ, they are taking outside investors. And that is a lot of money and cash flow that comes to their business that actually really makes them look like they have way more money and cash flow than they may have. And you, as a new person, are starting your business and you're comparing yourself, not realizing that they're a publicly traded company. And most of the companies that we know and we think about are publicly traded and have a lot of outside investors and a lot of their money and cash flow coming in. But you, as a person starting your business, you are like, well, I have to make enough money in January to sustain, February, and I have to make money in February to sustain March. And for most of us, when we first start our business, that is very true. And there's a difficulty that we have in that, especially if we've ever worked a job where we have that consistent money coming and coming to us every single week, every single 2 weeks, every 15th and 30th, or whenever we get our direct deposit, we know that money is coming and we start to base our life on that. But when we start our own business, the money is not consistent at first. It goes up, it goes down. There's no money sometimes for months on end. And that is what deters most people. So I'm going to share with you a straightforward way of what I did and what I didn't do and show you kind of the comparison on what you can do right now in 2025, 2026, and going forward. So let me break this down for you and share with you two business models. I have my little whiteboard here, and I'm going to fill this out and show you what I'm talking about of two different business models that I use and why one of them is clearly more successful than the other. Okay, so I basically have an old way and a new way. So my old way of what I started doing when I started flipping houses was I decided that I could flip houses that could make a lot of money. I saw a lot of people on TV doing it and it seemed like a great idea. So you have an idea and it could be an idea that you got from TV. Totally okay. It does not matter where your inspiration came from. That is probably a correct thing. Something that you are passionate about, that you can keep doing and that you could sustain. Flipping houses was one of the things for me. I love flipping houses. I love doing it. I thought it was fun decorating them, et cetera, et cetera. However, number two, use TV as info. That was what I did. I would watch a lot of TV. I would watch all of the TV shows that I could on flipping houses. I would see what they were doing, and I did a lot of the things. And I even got like the decorating information, like, oh, people like tiles in the bathroom, and oh, they like backsplashes that look like this, and oh, this is the countertop that is in style. That is what I did. I used TV for information. And then last but not least, I found the houses using a real estate agent. So I would find houses that said fix up, or I asked the real estate agent, hey, do you have any houses that I could flip? And we would drive around in their car and they would find houses to flip. Well, this worked in 2002 and 2003 and 2004 because the market was being manipulated through all of the subprime lending. So when 2008 and 2009 happened, I lost everything. I lost my job. I lost all the properties I was fixing. And at the end of 2008, I filed bankruptcy and I moved back in with my parents. Okay. I literally lived in my parents' basement in 2009. And that is where I learned this new mythology, this new method of making money. I started sneaking out and going to different classes. I started going to different seminars where people were speaking, different workshops, different networking events, and I started learning about how to do real estate flipping. And when I was doing all of that, I learned about wholesaling. I basically learned that I was buying homes incorrectly when I was flipping them. I was paying too much for them, and I needed to find people that were in distress, people that were in foreclosure or bankruptcy, or they were losing the house, or someone got sick. I needed to find distress, and then I could wholesale those properties. I was not in the position to fix and flip because I really had bad credit and all of these other things. And I really needed to learn how to do the projects more efficiently so that I could finish on time and on budget. So the bottom line is my new methodology of making money and starting a business started with learning. So instead of just going out there and just saying, I'm going to learn from TV and do what they're telling me on TV, I'm actually going to learn. But I would add a twist to that. Right now in 2025, because there is so much business credit and business funding out there, I would say you're going to learn. You're going to pick this horse. You're going to pick the thing that you're going to do, the thing that you're passionate about. That still is probably the best step for you. What are you going to do? What are you willing to do? What do you want to have a business around? What talents or gifts do you already have? Great. You know that. Now you want to have a business and you want to make lots of money in it. Great. Learn about how to make money in that business. Not learn about that business, learn how you make money in that. Who are the top people? Who is making money? Go to their classes, listen who's speaking, go to conferences, go to networking events, get out there, get outside and start learning about different things and taking classes. But also set the business up. I suggest that you actually get the business registered. Get it registered with the Secretary of State, whether you get an LLC, a S Corp, or a C Corp. Get the business registered with the Secretary of State. But here's the caveat. Do not pick the name of the business that is what the business is about. Pick just a general name, okay? Pick a name like you might use your initials, maybe. I might do NR Ventures LLC as an example, or NR Global LLC, or NR Worldwide LLC. Simple. For most of you, an LLC is going to be probably the entity that you choose. But again, Noelle Randall is not a tax advisor or an attorney. So I cannot tell you which type of entity you should get set up. But most likely it's an LLC. Generally speaking, it's one of the easier entities to set up without double taxation and a few of the other nuanced things that you would have to do with other entity setup. So just think about a simple name that your business is going to fall in, but do not say specifically what the business does. I don't put trucking, don't put landscaping, don't put hair, don't put nails, don't put logistics, don't put photography. Don't say specifically what the business does. Just make a very general name of a business so that you can easily get business credit and business funding. This is a big secret that I'm sharing with you absolutely free. And knowing what I know now, I would say do that in combination with learning, because as soon as you set up the business, the longer the business has to grow with age. And a business that is 2 years old is like an adult business, okay? Like say you are an adult when you were at 18, you can use your social security number and get pretty much anything you want to. Well, that's the same thing with an EIN, an employer identification number. Once you have the business set up and you get the EIN, it'll start, the clock starts ticking, and now your business is born and it's growing, even if you haven't started with all of getting revenue and proceeds and different things like that. But you have now opened up the door where you can start building business credit and business funding with absolutely no revenue, no customers, no leads, no nothing. You can actually start getting trade lines onto your business credit report. And by the time you're actually even ready to go with your business and start doing it, now you at least have some money, 10,000, 25,000, 50,000. Those are really easy numbers to get for a very new business, even with bad credit. I have a whole video. I'll put a link to that if you need to learn about how to get business credit with bad personal credit. All right, let me keep going. So step two, like I said, learning and setting up the business is like step one. Step one and then 1A is also getting the business set up, deciding on a business name. But again, not deciding necessarily what the business that you might work out in the world. Like, for example, I may be Noelle Randall Coaching in the world, but the business entity that owns Noelle Randall Coaching is this very obscure and open name that doesn't say coaching or real estate or anything like that in it. So the second thing that you would do after you're learning, going out, getting outside, going to classes, going to seminars, you set the business up, is the next thing is to take action. You actually have to start doing it. So in my old model, I did start doing, but I started doing the wrong thing because I decided on what I was going to do, flipping a house. And then I decided that I was going to use information from TV. That was the flaw. That was actually the flaw, but you're going to learn from successful people. You're going to go out to classes and conferences and people that you are in your industry that are doing well in your business, and you're going to be copying some of the things that they do, quite a bit of it. Again, as children, they tell us not to copy, but guess what? As adults, we can find all of the A papers and copy them. So I was doing this wrong over here. I was using information from TV. You're not going to make that mistake in your new world. You're going to do it the correct way and learn from the appropriate people. Then the next thing I did wrong was I got a real estate agent who had the wrong training and would talk to me about flip, these are the houses that you could flip. I was paying too much for the houses. I was paying commissions. I was buying in the wrong areas. I was just all in the wrong place because step one was correct, but the next two things I did was wrong. And your new model, step one will actually solve the two problems that I had in my old version because now you're going to do the things that you have learned. So now that you've been going to classes and seminars and taking notes and kind of getting out there, even just for a few months, you are now in the position to do some of the things that you have now learned, not stuff that you saw on TV, not stuff that they talked to you about in some random way, but in a way at a class that you paid for, that you attended. There's something that you got out of that that you can do. For me, it was wholesaling. Instead of me thinking I was flipping houses and doing renovations and calling in contractors and all of that stuff that I did before, I now realize the thing that I should do was wholesaling. And then I could come back to fixing and flipping. When I started doing wholesaling, I started immediately getting in cash flow. I was able to find those people that were in distress and flip those contracts for money. I was able to get $5,000 per contract. And in the first year of learning this, I was able to do 13 contracts. You do the math to that. So then now I know how to get in cash flow. Now that I know how to do wholesaling, I can now do fix and flips the correct way. But before I get into fixing and flipping, again, I'm going to learn from successful flippers. I'm going to get close to them. I'm not just going to watch them on TV or through the internet. I'm going to actually get up close and personal with them. I'm going to go to their classes. I'm going to go to their seminars. I'm going to go to the things that they're offering. And I'm going to do the things that they tell me for the level that I am at. And at the time, I should not have been flipping houses because I had bad credit and no job and no money. Wholesaling was the thing that I could do that I could make money right away. So again, do the thing that you can do. For whatever industry you are in, there is a thing that you can do. All right. It may not be the thing that you're going to do in the end. So, say, for example, you're a landscaper or something like that. You don't just go out and start hiring other landscapers. You may do something you learned in a class where they taught you how to trim trees, and you're going to go after this one neighborhood and do that for that neighborhood before you hire someone else. You are going to do something that you have learned and get successful in that. And then you will add other businesses to that or other complementary products or services to the one thing that you do. So once I was able to do wholesaling, then I went to fixing and flipping, then I could keep rental properties and really grow my wealth. I had learned all of these secrets on how to find properties at a discount. I had been to so many classes and learned legal loopholes and laws that I did not even know existed. I had so much great information, and now I had actually taken action to do it. I now was in the position to even take it even further and get to millionaire status. This was the key. But I was also able to do multiple things. So some leads that came in, I could still wholesale them. If it wasn't a property that I wanted to fix and flip, I would still wholesale that contract and get my $5,000. Some of the properties I wanted to keep and fix and flip, I would do that and get $65,000 for those. And some of them I would fix and flip and not flip. I would keep them and put a tenant in those properties. And that is how I grew my wealth. So I took a different approach that really started from learning from more successful people and then adding to it other products and services, which was the last one that I'm going to tell you is teach. You can make a whole stream of income teaching the thing that you now do. So you will learn something, you will do something, and then you will teach it in some way, whether you make a course, whether you make a YouTube channel, whether you make a podcast, whether you make a workbook, whether you do classes, whether you now do workshops. Again, the things that you went to have now taught you how to teach other people. And again, you may not teach them everything. Like, I don't necessarily teach a lot of wholesaling anymore. I now teach a lot of the wealth building. But when I first started teaching someone, I just taught them wholesaling because that was the thing that I learned to do. I learned how he taught it to me. I taught them to the same way, and then they too were able to do it. So that became another stream of income for myself. Additionally, the learning part of it, because I had established a business, became a tax write-off. That's a whole nother thing that I could get into that is going to create so many amazing opportunities for you, because as you're learning, you are creating expenses in your businesses that are tax write-offs for yourself. So not only can you get business credit and business funding, you now have write-offs for the things that you spend the money on, and it teaches you how to make more money. It's a much smarter mindset and way to approach business versus trying to copy something from a distance. Me trying to watch TV to learn how to flip houses was too far removed. I didn't have enough of the inside information. I wasn't sure how they were getting the houses. I wasn't sure how much they had paid for them or how they paid for them. I didn't learn about wholesalers because, again, it's a TV show. It's for purpose of entertainment, like reality shows. You're not going to learn how to be a musician by watching Love and Hip Hop. That's not how that works. They're not sharing with you. But if you went to an actual music industry workshop or a class, well, then you would learn how to make money in music. Again, where you're learning this information is going to be really important to how you are able to do it. And then again, the fact that you learned it then gives you the qualification to teach it to someone else. It's this amazing cycle that repeats itself and just gives more and more knowledge for yourself that you use in your business to make money, but it's also more and more knowledge that you are able to give to others that they will pay you for. Okay, and last but not least, here is a bonus piece of information that you really need to know on what you should do in 2025 that you were not able to do before, and that is upsell. Upsell, upsell, upsell. A buyer is a buyer is a buyer. This is something that I learned that I'm going to teach you right here. So, one of the things that you should always do is offer people upsells. If you have a customer already that you had to have purchased something from you, whether it be a product, whether it be a service, you should offer them something else. They've already purchased from you. A buyer is a buyer is a buyer. And in many cases, you get to upsell them. So, if, for example, I have someone that I'm doing a fix and flip for, well, I'm going to offer them something else that I have for them. Maybe it's help with moving, maybe it's landscaping, maybe it's decorating services, whatever other service that you could offer, you make sure you offer to your customers. A buyer is a buyer is a buyer. And if you really want to take yourself to the next level, you have to increase how much customers spend with you. Remember, you can either get your customer to buy again, or you can get more customers to buy. But getting one customer to buy again is going to be the easiest thing to do because you can just upsell them. You can say, okay, if you buy it, and again, and I'm very transparent. For example, if I offer you something, I'm going to offer you something else. A buyer is a buyer is a buyer. It's something that I know that every business knows. Why do you think at the checkout counter, there are all of those things for you to buy? Gum, candy, hair things, lighters, just all of these different things at the register. Why? Because you're already buying something and there's a psychology to buying. A buyer is a buyer is a buyer. So it's very easy to get someone that has bought from you while they are in the buying process to get them to buy again or buy more or upgrade. Maybe they buy a general admission ticket. It's easier to get them to buy a VIP instead of trying to get people to just go to VIP. You get them to buy a general admission, and you try to get some of the people that buy general admission tickets to buy VIP, for example. If you have a product that you sell, they bought one bottle, offer them a second bottle or third bottle at a discount. Very, very simple things to upsell your customers. A buyer is a buyer is a buyer. That is not something that I knew when I first started it in my old model. So I did not realize that customers can be customers again and again, even with wholesaling, even with fixing and flipping, even my tenants, even people that buy homes for me, even people that buy books, even speaking engagements, everything that I do. If they have purchased from me, I am going to offer them something else during the buying process while they're buying something before they finish checking out, or soon after. I am going to offer them something. And then because I have their information, I'm going to send you coupons. I'm going to send you promo codes. I'm going to send you discounts, just like a store would, just like any successful business knows. You have to upsell your customers, and a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. And in 2025, that could not even be that's the most truest thing. And that is why we have all of these situations where most people don't have any money because we are such consumers buying and buying and buying. But the important part is you could be on the other end of that. Instead of you being the person that's buying everything, you could be selling, 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 and people could be giving you money every single day, just like Noelle Randall. And I have a gift for you. You can get my Pick a Horse book and the Manifestation Journal absolutely free. Just go to deals.noellerandall.com. You can get these books for free. You just cover the shipping. These two books are absolutely amazing and have been getting amazing reviews. My Pick a Horse book is an Amazon bestseller, and it tells the real story on how you can choose yourself. I tell you my real story with some real strategies and tactics on how I got focused on the thing that I was going to do, how I was able to choose my horse, and more importantly, how I was able to stick with it until it was successful. Yes, there were hard times, but there's some real easy things that you can do to take yourself to that next level, especially when you start to choose you and all of the benefits that there are in choosing yourself instead of working for others or depending on others for an income. You can create your own streams of income and you can make a lot of money. There's some real strategies, and I put them in this book. But this book, in combination with this journal, is an absolute deal. You can go to deals.noellerandall.com and get both of these. This journal is amazing because it is a culmination of a bunch of different journals that I have used. I have put into this one journal so that you can achieve your number one goal in just 100 days. You will journal in the morning and the evening, and there are prompts to help you do that. You will write down your goal every single day because that is what you will do, and it will psychologically help you achieve your goal. You'll write it down, and you'll write down 5 of the things that you're going to do each day. And then in the evenings, you will reflect on the things that you will do, and you will repeat this over and over, and you will achieve your goals. These two books together, this journal and this book, are going to be a combination that is such a winner. This Pick a Horse book is really, really in depth and tells my real story, and people are raving about how I was able to do it with all of these kids and all of these obstacles, but just sticking to it and staying focused on what I was going to do. And this journal was one of the journals that I use, different, versions of it. I've created my own, so it really helps you and gets right to the point. Get both of these books for free. You just cover the shipping. Go to deals.noellerandall.com. Go there today and we will ship it out immediately. We want to make sure that you get these books because it is amazing. It has helped so many people, and I want to make sure that I'm helping you too. I just want to make sure that you have all of the knowledge, all of the resources, and all of the tools that you need to be successful. This is Noelle Randall. To your success.
Let's fix that.